Yo, welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
Yo, it's just Darcy here.
And this is Big Geek Umar. How y'all doing today?
yo,
fucking flying in the house, bro.
But
I'm good. I'm good.
Attacked over here.
Wow. I got it. How y'all doing, man? Any flies in your house?
Ant-Man over there.
No, I don't get flies, but I'm in a basement, so every so often I end up getting like a spider or a centipede. Oh, just take me out.
Worse.
I know.
I fucking hate centipedes, bro.
Yeah, and it's only happened twice in like the last year, but that's 2 times too many. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you've always been really cool when that happens while we've been on air, so.
That hasn't happened while we're on air.
Oh.
I've not been cool about it once. One of these. Absolutely. Umar, how are you doing? What kind of cockroaches you got in your life?
I mean, maybe they're mice, like in the basement, but like I'm in my room, so like I haven't, knock on wood, had anything to deal with it yet.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind kind of mice, right? Yeah, I like it. Now that we got over our pests.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess I will just bring up.
I'm waiting on you, bro. I'm just waiting on you. Let's get to it.
Okay. Well, we actually have a lot to cover this week. Like it's kind of like an influx of a whole bunch of geeky news and also things that we want to review. So, let's see. I'll say first, for those of you who are not watching us live or listening to us live, and you're on YouTube, go click the descriptions, and if there's a particular topic you wanted to hear and not all of them in order, just click on the timestamp and it'll take you right to there. But for all of you people watching us live, first topic of today is something that we have covered quite frequently, and it has resurfaced. Now, in a previous podcast, we discussed how after like a year, Joss Whedon decided to respond to all the controversy in a very lengthy, and I mean very lengthy, article where he basically was crying, I'm a white man who is just misunderstood. And also, women be crazy. Anyway, so given that, and all of us were just kind of like, yeah, okay, Joss. Carpenter, who kind of started off this whole thing, along with Ray Fisher, let's just say that they responded, and in my mind, they responded quite well. So Carpenter said 2 things that I'll read out to everybody, and then Ray Fisher had 1 thing, which I'll also read out to everybody. So first thing that Christopher Carpenter said: I stand with Ray Fisher, the malevolent force and bad actor in both senses, who poisoned my feeble mind with trendy buzzwords and corrupt ideas about my experiences with a former tyrannical, narcissistic boss who is still unable to be accountable and just apologize. And she followed that up with regarding Gal Gadot. And she said, oops, sorry, I skipped. I believe Gal Gadot not only understands career threats in English, but also in Hebrew and Arabic, possibly French, Spanish, and Italian too. So she's like throwing some sass.
Oh snap, girlfriend!
Yeah.
Snap! She got that one.
And then Ray Fisher wrote in a tweet, Joss Whedon had nearly 2 years to get his story straight. He's likely spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on PR, crisis management, and coaching. And his response to the allegations is, they all misunderstood and or are out to get me. Also, my mom is sexy.
His mom is sexy. Is that what he said?
Yeah. So in the interview, he was talking about how he was just talking about his mom and just like how awesome she was, and also how much he loved her, and also like she was a beautiful, sexy woman. And I was just like,
yeah.
Okay.
It's like hey, I understand women. My mom is a beautiful, sexy woman. Okay, that's how I understand women. And Donald Trump, I support. Because
I think he was trying to go with like his mom was like hard, but like well, let me rephrase.
hard 10.
Rephrasing. That his mother is was kind of like a stern individual, but was like smart, intelligent, and sexy, and just kind of like I don't know who told you to say that, but that's not gonna help you.
At least he's like one shy shade of a Donald Trump interview talking about his daughter on The View. I'm just saying. If you don't know, but now, oh yeah, he went in. It was like if she wasn't my daughter, and it's like, whoa, that's not a sentence we should be starting right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like I gotta say, like I kind of agree with Ray Fisher. He had all this time, and this is what he had to say. But I gotta say, I like the fact that both him and Charisma Carpenter are like tag teaming Joss Whedon and just like demolishing him. But like, what do you guys think? Darcy, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how he spent all that money. It's like paying for fitness training and then just every day going and eating at McDonald's. Like, it's just like, why did you spend the money then if you were just planning not to do anything with it?
I feel that was like a trigger sentence for Tactix.
Yeah, I just yeah, it was definitely in there. Not that I did that. I'm on the.
No, you're on point, bro. You're on point.
My losses are consistent right now. Okay, I literally pulled up my phone this morning and I was like, "Look at this! It's just like a slope." Yeah, no, it's just, yeah. I mean, Joss is she's just dumb, and I'm just glad to see the response. I mean, out of all of it, my favorite part of that whole thing is just the whole like Gal Gadot understands it in multiple languages. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, yeah, I don't think you need to speak a language to understand that a man is making you feel uncomfortable. So, yeah. It's women are very sensitive to this. The language barrier is not the problem.
Also, I'm fairly certain that if you feel threatened, even in another language, you're being threatened. Like, what kind of conversation were you having where someone came across thinking that was a threat?
Yeah. It's one thing if you literally don't speak the language and it's a complete stranger on the middle of the street and you don't understand like the mannerisms of the people of that culture and they express themselves in a way that feels threatening to you. Okay, cool. But I mean, y'all been working together and we all know she can speak English. Like, it's like, this is not the case. It's not, you're not strangers on the street and
yeah,
it's not like that. So no, yeah, just stupid tactics. I'm passing to you.
To be honest, I don't have much to add. We've been talking about this at nauseum, and I'm just kind of like, I'm over Joss Whedon. Like, I'm kind of done, man. I don't know, man. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth in regards to like all of this stuff that I'm hearing, you know, because as you know, like I love the Buffy franchise, Angel.
Not the Angel.
I'm getting there, but and then obviously what he did with the Avengers movie. So it's really disheartening to for all of this to come to light and to see that he's a piece of shit. And you know, now he's getting what he deserves. And yeah, he's everyone's right. It's like you waited so long to, you know, say something of value or something remotely just something that was gonna like be your saving grace, and like you're talking about how sexy your mom is. Like that just I just don't
sexy, yeah, and you know it.
Like, what do you do with that at this point? Like you just stole a shovel and buried yourself. Like, I don't know, man. So yeah,
I'm just like, maybe you're trying to distract us. He's like, hey guys, look, it's not that bad. I love my
That's
mom.
not the way. That wasn't the move. That was not the move. Like now he's sexist, racist, and just weird as shit. Like that's not painting him in a good light right now. So yeah, but okay, one thing I am pleased about though is that Ray Fisher is actually getting like the backing that he deserves, because when this first came out, like no one said shit. No one was supporting my man. So it was kind of like, damn, like I was a little concerned for him, because I was like, yo, you're a lone wolf in this industry right now, and you're going up against, at the time, a powerhouse, because everyone was kind of like, they weren't really buying into the like the accusations. And then now that there's like some backing going on, and especially from Charisma Carpenter, Gal Gadot, and there was someone else who, I think Sarah Michelle Gellar, alluded to something, but didn't really go into any specific details. And I can understand from her position why she wouldn't want
Actually,
to.
she's still staying quiet relatively. Like she's
Yeah.
just doing, like you said, she keeps alluding to something.
Yeah. And I mean, that's good enough. I mean, it's kind of clear that Joss Whedon isn't he's not a decent man. So I mean, it's good that Ray is actually getting the support that he deserves now. And I hope that from this it gets him more opportunities, and it doesn't taint his image or his career in any way. Which I don't see. I don't think it would, but yeah.
Yeah, like I'm kind of hoping like Marvel will pick him up for like Black Panther or Blade or something like that, or not even that, like just any kind of film franchise, and because he is clearly talented and capable. He knows, like he was the best part of a movie that bombed.
Well, speaking of Black Panther, like all of that is like, I don't even want to hear about that movie right now, man. Like it's like they've gone into what's it called? They've delayed the movie again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
And people are still pushing for him to be recast now, because they're saying, look, like it's what we were discussing in a previous podcast. People don't want him to be recast, but also a lot of people do, because they're like, this is an important character. Please don't sideline him just because of one actor. And I remember reading one tweet. He's like, Chadwick Boseman realized that this role was bigger than him, which is why he gave his life for it. So we should probably, like, he would probably want it to be recasted for another great actor. And I was like, ooh, that's a good point.
It is a good point.
Yeah, like that's actually a good point. Like I feel like anyone who like talks about how great Chadwick Boseman is, I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever Chadwick would have wanted.
Fair.
Anyway, moving on. We also have recently been given a picture of what Batgirl is going to look like, and we're given a kind of like a video of Barbara Gordon kind of interrogating someone over a building. So yeah, like, so that is what she looks like. I gotta say, it's nice to see a non-exploitative costume for a female superhero. It's also incredibly comic accurate.
Minus the boots. Like I can't get over the shoes, man. Like I got the same pair right here, bro. Like I got the same pair, yo. It's like she went into her dad's closet. She's like, I don't got any tactical boots. Oh, these will do. And then she just slipped on the dude's dress shoes, and she's good to go. Like I just can't get over it. Everything from like the ankles up looks great, but the boots are distracting as fuck, man.
Yo,
I didn't even notice the boots.
Can you imagine if they're actually like dress shoes, like they don't have any grip? Just like all these bloopers, like slipping off of like ledges and shit. Oh man.
But yeah, so that is Leslie Grace, who is playing Barbara Gordon / Batgirl. And it's from originally this. So ironically, Joss Whedon was in charge of this franchise, but
what the fuck?
No, he not. No,
I know. I forgot that he was, and now that you tell me that, I'm like, oh my god, his mitts are everywhere.
Yeah. Though I can't say I'm super glad about the people who are in charge of it now. It's Bilal Falah and Adil Arbi. They did the Bad Boys for Life movie. Yeah. So like I haven't watched it, but like I heard fine things about it, and I'm just like,
You
would have
don't
liked it.
you don't need to watch that movie.
Yeah. Nonetheless, it's still like she looks badass, and from the video that we saw of her holding someone over a building, interrogating them, I mean, if they follow the comics like properly, I won't be as upset. The person who wrote it did Birds of Prey and Bumblebee, so like she knows what she's doing. I'm just hoping that she does it better. Is all I'm saying. She also the person who wrote this also wrote The Flash.
The movie?
Yeah, the movie.
Well,
Which we
don't know
haven't
what that's
seen.
gonna be like yet, so yeah.
We know Michael Keaton's a badass, and I love him.
Oh yeah, Mike Keaton would do his job, but I mean, who knows? He could be like Neo out here. You never know.
Another 4 out of 10.
Yeah, graciously giving them 4 out of 10. Oh, my lord.
So Ron R writes, "Low expectations equal high results." LOL.
Very, very true. If we're going in with this movie looking like a 1, we still might be surprised.
I don't know. I feel like if she wears the wrong shoes, T's gonna be done with the film like right away.
Just saying, like they're not even practical, man. They're just like
no one saw the shoes.
Yo, my attention went right to the shoes because I was like, where have I seen those before? Oh wait, I have a pair at home.
You know what would have made them shoes better if they were just black, regular, like police SWAT boots, right? Because like I have a pair of those, and like, but because like she already has black in her costume, and you put brown boots on someone wearing purple and yellow, it's just like I saw them
accurate.
too.
It's comic accurate.
She wears brown boots.
Oh, hold on, let me see if I can pull up.
But while you're doing that, I gotta say, the thing about this picture that just doesn't do it for me, and I didn't realize this till now. Like, yes, it looks comic accurate, and yes, it sounds like the right people are involved, but for some reason, this just looks like what Batwoman is trying to be. Like, it looks like what CW wants to achieve and doesn't have the budget for. But it doesn't feel like when I'm looking at this, and then I'm looking at the Batman, and I'm like, there's like, where's the character in this? Like the costume, like the environment feels like it's somewhere between CW, right, where like their sets feel very fake and stuff, but trying to make it feel grand, like 1989 Batman, like trying to make it feel grand, but it just feels kind of plain. When like we watch it for all those Canadians out here who watch CBC, and it's like everything is technically accurate in your show and the way that it's shot, but it's lifeless. Like it just.
I kind of agree with that, and I think part of the problem is I think this is an issue where it becomes a thing where, when you pull a comic from the page onto live action, it almost doesn't translate the same way. Like you take something like Spider-Man, and like they keep all the same details. The look of Spider-Man and the costume looks very accurate, and it works within that universe. But like I think back to like when the first live action X-Men movie came out, and at first everyone was like kind of like all up in arms about like the costumes, about how like they were all dressed in black because it was like their tactical gear for when they went out at night, and it made more sense, right? And then you think about it, it's like, okay, well, would you really want Wolverine dressing up in yellow spandex in that movie? Like I don't know if it would fit the same way. Like how do you make that work in like a live action setting and be taken seriously? Okay. You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, and also I would say that like support for your point would be Hawk and Dove from Titans.
Yeah.
That
exactly
did not work.
No, not at all.
However,
I don't know. I liked it. I'm just fucking with you.
Okay. However, I will say, Nightwing worked.
Yeah, but again, look at like, so if you're talking about Teen Titans, look like the way his suit looks, it's not it's not overt, you know what I mean? It's like mostly black with like the symbol being blue. It's still he can still be like inconspicuous in the shadows and like not draw any attention to himself. Whereas Hawk and Dove, man, it's like, come on, man, are y'all going trick-or-treating in January? What the fuck is going on right now? Like,
But my point is like there are certain comic book costumes that can translate, like with Avengers.
Certain ones, yes, I agree.
Yes, with the MCU, we've seen Spider-Man looks good, Black Panther looks dope as fuck, Captain America is killing it, Thor is killing it too.
Yeah, but okay,
Iron Man.
but that Captain America wasn't exactly all the way comic accurate. He was in Avengers, and that suit looked goofy as shit. But then they upgraded and they gave him a more like tactical look.
But that goofy look too in Avengers was well explained in the film, because he's like, "Oh, I'm just such a fan. I upgraded your suit," and it, like it wasn't even his choice, you know. It's just kind of like, "Thanks, bud."
Yeah,
like,
okay, yeah.
But then in Age of Ultron, they updated it.
They're poking fun at that point, though. Like, they're poking fun at the fact of how ridiculous the comic book accurate suit looks.
But it wasn't entirely comic book accurate. Like, I would argue that the Endgame Captain America outfit is the most comic accurate version.
Yeah, but I think overall though, it's like when it comes to like choosing the costume, you look at it and you go, does it fit? And then you look at Hawk and Dove and you go like, okay, cosplay wings, is there any purpose to them? Do they have any tactical benefit in her? And like, I'm looking at a picture of her wings and I'm like, no, it just looks like you cosplayed up. Okay, then you need to adjust that costume. For me though, it's not even about the fact that like, oh, it's comic book accurate that feels wrong in this girl picture. Her costume doesn't bother me much because it looks functionally practical, right? She's wearing a jacket.
That's why I like it.
But what bothers me about this is that it's the overall shot and the lighting and the tone of it feels boring, right? Like it's like,
okay,
it's
that's
Gotham. It's Gotham, and yet it feels well lit.
Okay, that's different. That has less to do with how she looks and what the costume is versus the presentation of it. So, like, I would say that like we just need more shots of like more posters, more scene photos. But like,
oh, okay, those boots are really big.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
You said
it. And from this shot, it just looks like she has on jeans like that. Like, it just.
Yeah, hold up. Spoiler alert.
A rave, bro.
Spoiler alert. The Joker's in here because look at them clown feet. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Like I'm gonna wait for like a proper photo because I think this actually looks good. And also, me personally, I'm happy to see that they went with the like Batgirl outfit that is the least exploitative and the most functional.
Yeah, no, I mean,
so like
I'm working. It's working.
I'm a fan of this. T, you need to let this go. I swear to God, you're not gonna be able to enjoy.
I got my Halloween costume for next year, bro.
We're gonna go see this movie in theaters, and this bro's gonna just be like, "Yo, fuck those shoes." And I'm like,
No, Tactix. You need to show up to the movie in those shoes. That's what I say. He's like, "Why are you wearing dress shoes today, bro?" I'm just trying to be in. I'm trying to be in the vibe.
I just love when people be like, "Hey man, how you doing?" It's like, I'm cosplaying. It's like, how?
Oh man.
Yeah, just the shoes. Yeah, no. I mean, this look here, like it doesn't bother me. I just hope that the presentation, like that photo, the first one, just doesn't do it for me because it looks like CW, and I'm like, nope. Like,
T, you gotta put Ron R's comment. The last one. Who knows? Maybe they'll Photoshop it in.
Which part?
Oh,
like
man.
good
The
shoes?
shoes.
Yeah. They spent like half their budget just doing feet replacement.
Yeah.
Far easier than a mustache, I'll tell you that much. DC's learned something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on from the Batgirl costume, we have another interesting controversy that came about representation. So Peter Dinklage, the man we all know as, oh my God, Tyrion Lannister. Who's
We all know it. I don't remember.
No, sorry, I got ahead of myself, and I was like, oh wait, I didn't actually think of what I was going to say. Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones, who also has been in a shit ton of stuff. He's a fantastic actor. We all love him.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really know that they were making a Snow White live action film. They are, and they casted Peter Dinklage as in the movie, and he voiced his opinion earlier this week by saying, literally no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken back when they were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White. But you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing here. It makes no sense. He went on to say that they are basically focusing on the dwarves who are in a backwards story and are living in a cave together. He's essentially saying, what the fuck? And I gotta be like, I personally wouldn't have wanted Snow White to be, well, first of all, I'm not really enjoying the live action Disney remakes. They're not really, there's only so much you can improve on this, but they're not really hitting it home for me. Secondly, I feel Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was possibly among the worst ones to try to bring forward, because, I mean, it doesn't do a great job with women either. And then, on top of which, yeah, these dwarves don't actually even have names or a house.
No, man. Grumpy, stinky. They have some names. They're not good ones, but they some names.
Those are more like descriptions of their personalities than names.
Hey, maybe your description is why you got your name. That's all I'm saying. I'm totally kidding. I don't want this movie at all.
Yeah. And also, like, yeah, like, I think the bar is pretty low when it comes to people like dwarves being cast in films. When
Poor choice of words, my friend. Poor choice of words.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes,
I couldn't let that
go. Poor
go.
choice of words. The standard is pretty bad, where we're hoping that the dwarves actually have a house, have proper names, and have backstories. Like, that's the bar that they didn't even cross. So now, I will say that a few days later, Disney responded to this by saying, we apologize for any offense that we might make. We're making changes, and also we're communicating with the dwarf community in order to make those changes that represent the community. Now, it's nice that Peter Dinklage was able to actually, like, say something and actually get shit done. So that's awesome. However, I feel, well, actually, no, I feel bad. I feel we should be grateful for the fact that Disney is actually listening. Oh, Courtney had something to say. We already got a live action Snow White with Kristen Stewart and Chris Hemsworth. I forgot about that film. In The Huntsman. Why do they need to do it again? More importantly, who asked for this?
Not me.
I think Darcy did.
Yeah, no. You know who asked for this? I know who asked for this. Disney's bank account. Like, literally. They're just literally going back and saying, here's all our old IP. Let's go make money off of it. And like, Umar, you're saying over here that, like, okay, so they're going to make changes. It's like, at some point, it's like, you're just going to write a new film. And then, is it even worth doing this? And just make a whole new film. Like, it's not related.
Ron R says they have so many options to choose from to make live action. Disney is not short on content. Just stop. Kind of agreed. I mean, like,
what else is left? I feel like they've done like all the heavy hitters.
Yeah, all the heavy hitters, all baked in something that's inappropriate.
They haven't done Pocahontas yet, have they?
You want to go there? Like, I was just thinking about that one. It's like, yeah, okay, so we just go shift our problem from misrepresenting women and dwarves to misrepresenting women and Aboriginal people. Like what are we doing
well,
here?
I mean, they're revamping all of their properties, so I mean, maybe it's a chance for them to do it right. Fix
Little
that
Mermaid?
shit.
No.
Little Mermaid, they haven't
Pocahontas,
done
you
yet.
can't really fix that shit. That's still genocide. It still happened.
Yeah,
If they fix that shit, that's not a good call.
Yeah,
man.
basically, if Disney wants to do Pocahontas, they're actually have to tell the real Pocahontas story, and then that won't be a Disney movie anymore. Like, nope, be HBO Max.
Yeah. So Ron R says Tangled, Frozen, Princess and the Frog, and Moana.
Oh yeah, the newer ones. Yeah.
Yeah, the more recent ones. Honestly, we don't need live action. We don't need live action adaptations. And you know what? I say we stop it right there because that's going to. We have a discussion topic later on in the podcast. So let's stop it right there. Nonetheless, Peter Dinklage, my man, you spoke up, and also you're getting shit changed. Good for you. And also, I am kind of glad that we have the marginal step forward that when a corporation fucks up and misrepresents the community, an actor has the capabilities of going vocal about it, not get negatively attacked, and also is able to get like proper change done. So like, way to go, Peter Dinklage.
And Disney,
Well, again, it's
companies.
Again, it's like what Darcy said. It's all about the money, right? If they don't respond and course correct this shit, then it's just gonna look bad for them. Because then people are gonna be like, oh, you know what? Peter's right, and then they're gonna boycott Disney. No one wants. Well, Disney doesn't want that. So,
and I will say this: as evil and as insane as they are, Disney knows that Disney jumped on the bandwagon of wanting to earn money through progressive means. I mean, you can argue that is still they're making money off progress, but I'm like, hey, as long as we're in the right direction, I don't care if they get rich for it, especially if they are so terrified of bad publicity about like being bad to a minority group that they course correct and like do more representation that is more accurate. One step forward, I'll take it. So yeah, for me, I take this as a like, I still don't want the movie to be made, but nonetheless, let's do this in a proper way.
Yeah, I just don't want the movie.
didn't know this movie was coming out.
Neither did I. Apparently no one did.
I didn't even like the original when I was a child, so I'm definitely not watching this.
I watched it maybe once.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So, hold on. We got one final. Hello, Jamal. And welcome to the show. Feel free to comment on our discussions. So next topic is, I did it. I took my bro's suggestion and I watched all 5 episodes of Peacemaker that have been released. And let's just say, you bros were right. This is some fun shit. It's some weird ass fun shit. It's got some issues with it. However, I spent most of my time laughing and or being like, what the fuck? That, like, I would have liked a little bit more brown representation, aside from like, the MIT graduate janitor. But nonetheless,
I don't even know that character. I don't even know who you're talking about in this show.
First episode.
When he's talking to the guy, outside in the hospital.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
See, you forgot about the one and only brown guy.
Yeah.
He's also in the credits. The opening credits.
What were those credits, man?
Those are amazing.
The credits are awesome, man.
That took me for such a loop of the first time, and now I just love it.
So, okay, FYI, we're going to do spoilers for Peacemaker episodes 1 to 5. So if you haven't watched it yet, I suggest you just go down and click the next timestamp. If you're watching it live, come back in a couple of minutes. But yeah, John Cena is so freaking like I see what you're saying. He's a racist and a sexist, but he doesn't actually realize he's racist or sexist. But at the same time, like he does have a big heart, but he's just okay. I didn't love Eagly as much as you guys did. I'm like,
Eagly's
cool.
amazing. Don't
I
be
like
hater.
I liked when he hugged him, but that's about it.
Oh man, I love how he goes and gets him like a dead possum, and he's like, "Eat," and then he's like, "I'm not gonna eat it, but I appreciate the sentiment."
I will say that like they are trying to retcon Peacemaker from Suicide Squad, and I'm a little sad about that because I would have liked to see him a little bit more cutthroat and like more hardlined. He's very what I found interesting about him in the movie was the fact that he was kind of really fucked up and scary at the drop of a hat. Here, he's just kind of like an endearing character who just like is a good fighter or really good with arms weapons. So like that's one thing that I actually find to be like a weakness. The rest of it is just a really fun ride. I'm enjoying myself. The butterfly. I gotta say, I'm liking Myrn the most. Actually, Leota and Myrn, I actually like the absolute most. But
I was waiting for you to say more. It felt like that was a beginning of a statement.
well, I was waiting for you guys to say something, but you guys didn't.
Yeah, but usually you throw it to someone and you just kind of went blank.
No, I thought you guys were going to say like one of you was going to jump forward. Anyway, so for me, I just expected you guys to like join in on the fun. Anyway, so I will say that I'm enjoying the series. I am going to keep watching. It is fucked up. I will give it that. It is weirdly and it's fucked up, but like I find it in an enjoyable way. And like yeah, like basically this is so clearly that James Gunn is letting his freak flag fly as much as he wants, and he's like, look, Marvel, this is what you could have had. But yeah, nonetheless, like I'm enjoying it, and I'm yeah. So I'm gonna see what you guys have to say now, being able to say whatever you want and not having to hold back like you had to do last week. So T, let's start with you.
I don't really have much to add from what I said last week, but I'm still loving the show. I can't remember what my initial rating was. I think it was like a 7.5 or 8. I can't remember, but it's definitely up there. It's high. It's I'm enjoying it. I like every episode. Every episode keeps me very engaged. I don't know. I feel like I understand what you're saying, Umar, about how they're trying. It seems like they're trying to retcon him from the Suicide Squad. Episode 5 though kind of shows his more badass nature though. Like I mean,
Yes.
we get a little bit of it, not as much as I initially would have liked, because I feel like there was a nice balance of that in the movie, right? Where we got the Peacemaker that we're getting like a copious amount of in the show, in the movie, but then towards the end, you start to see his more aggressive kind of militant style kind of or personality come out, and you definitely see it a little bit in episode 5, where he just basically walks in, just blows a girl's head off and shit, right?
I love that moment.
That was crazy because I was like, "Yo, what guy? Chill!" And then you realize it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I got X-ray vision." So yeah, no, that's
really cool. I honestly thought he was gonna be like, "What? Aren't they bad guys?" And it's like,
yeah.
Yeah, I loved about that. She's like, I thought you were going to give me a signal. He's like, I thought when I blew her head off, that was a signal.
I love how she shot them afterwards. Yeah. And he's like, you don't need to keep doing that.
Yeah, you don't need to shoot them after I've killed them.
Oh, man. Wait, where can you watch this show? It's on HBO Max, but...
So Crave. I watch it off Crave.
Yeah, I don't have Crave. I've just been streaming it, so that's what I do. Yeah, I'm a criminal. But yeah, I like the show. I'm curious to see how the season's gonna end. There's a big reveal at the end of episode 5, which is really interesting. So I want to see where that goes. Was it episode 4?
Yeah, episode 5 just carried it on.
Yeah, they did identify it in
Oh,
episode
well, yeah.
4.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Sorry. So someone discovered what I meant was someone discovered what
The
was
reveal.
revealed. Yeah. That's what I meant. So yeah, I'm curious to see where that goes. But overall, I'm enjoying the show. I like that James Gunn is attached to this because DC. I feel like they need a win right now. I want to see more DC properties. Like, you know, I know it's funny, but I actually want to see DC win.
No,
I
we
still
want DC to win. It's just so sad that this is its only win next to the first Wonder Woman movie.
yeah, it is pretty sad. But I mean,
And this is better.
They had the advantage with the movie though, because they were able to introduce the character, so you don't have to waste a whole lot of time within a series to flesh out that character or build like their origin story in a sense, right? Like you can kind of go back and forth, and like the character's still pretty. He's fairly well established, so you don't really have to kind of waste time fleshing him out all that much. So that they have that advantage going for them, and then you could also have like cameos that could potentially lead to other series down the line. They've made a lot of references. Some obviously some of those references aren't going to turn into TV series, but
Right.
it'd be interesting to see what other characters show up if they ever plan to either add some villains or some heroes that could potentially get their own spin-off. I just want them to get rid of Titans and then just start that shit over and give us something better.
Oh,
Like, yeah. So, but yeah, that's my opinion on it. That's my take. So yeah, swinging it over to Darcy.
Darcy.
Yeah, so first off, I agree. Titans, all the CW stuff, just trash it, be done with it. Most of everything that we got going on in the DCEU, trash it. You know what thing I love about this is I want James Gunn to like take over the DCEU, like after seeing this. And what I mean by it is like as much as I love the Matt Reeves stuff, like well, I feel like I'm gonna love it. Like I love the tone that I'm seeing. I do feel like that would be harder to expand into a larger universe with like Superman and all the other characters just based off the tone, because like it's very noir and not everything else is gonna fit. But when I feel about this as I watch it is like there's a very like, and it's the way that they reference everything else, it makes it feel like tangibly like there is in our real world these DC characters, right? Like they make it feel like very real. I don't really agree with you, Umar, on the whole like retconning piece. I don't know. I just feel like it's expanding the character and like how he became like what he is. And I think he's gonna get more hard. He's gonna get more hardcore. But it's like I don't know. I like this way of you're introduced to this character who's like fucked up and funny and like all out, and then you immediately go into like breaking the character down, and then he's gonna come back out what he is. Like you can break him down somewhat, but he's always gonna be like a douchebag to some degree, and so he's just gonna like it. I don't know. It's just, I love everything about how they're telling the story about him, and I think that John Cena is doing a fantastic job. I think he's showing lots of range, and he's given him an opportunity that he's actually able to do it, and it works for him.
I'm not knocking John Cena. He's killing it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with all what they're doing with the character because I don't feel like he's so different from the movie. I just feel like, how would we know this much about him in the movie? Like you never have the time to focus this on with him when you have like 14 characters, right? I just feel like this is just expanding on that, and I've just really enjoyed this. And when I say like I would love to see James Gunn take over like a DCEU, is like this wacky world, right? I don't mean like everything has to be tonally like this, but I could totally see how you would have wackiness. yo, you gotta deal with them pests over there.
He looks crazy over there. He's just like.
No, because I thought I got it, but I didn't get it. But I think I got it this time. He's out of commission.
But like I could totally see how you could go to a more serious tone in this world with like a Batman or Batman-esque, you know, like one of like the people in his camp in the Rogues Gallery, and then you could go to something else, and how I still feel like he could show up in this. I just wish that like, because like this and like the Suicide Squad, similar and yet slightly different, they very clearly know who they are. Like these properties, they have an identity, And this isn't trying to be, you know, Shakespeare or anything crazy. It's just trying to like give you I know it's totally random reference, Umar, but
I was like, where did that?
it's giving you like a really like fun time, and it knows what it is. It's not trying to pretend, and it's like take me as exactly as I am. And everything else we got from DC is trying hard, and this is just like, no, this is just exactly it. And I could see someone like, you know, James Gunn overseeing things and be like, yeah, like what is this supposed to be, and how does it fit? And just like, no, be unapologetically, this is what this movie is about. This is what the show is about, and be unapologetic about it. And I feel like we could get wins, versus like, I feel like I'm worried that DC is going to be like just a bunch of fragmented random stuff, and we'll have some good stuff and we'll have some crap stuff, and it'll just be like a bunch of randomness, and it'll just be like, okay, cool, but like I wish my characters could show up together, but I don't really care about most of the stuff that's coming out. This is just the best DC thing I've seen in a long fucking ass time.
Okay.
You brought up a good point, Darcy. Like, yeah, I'll bring up the question in a second. But I wanted to touch on something that Darcy said,
Cool.
pertaining to James Gunn, taking over for DC and kind of like, you know, establishing it like kind of like a DC universe, like a brand new DC universe. Since he's kind of already paving the way with Peacemaker, but it'd be interesting because it seems like, and sorry to bring this guy up again, but Joss Whedon, he started off with the Marvel movie, and then he, you know, was forced into doing Justice League, which became a shit show. But then you have James Gunn, who started off with Marvel, and then now he's over at DC. It'd be cool to kind of see, like, you know, the Russo brothers go from Marvel and take over something for DC. And then who was the guy who did the Spider-Man franchise? John Watts. Yeah, it'd be cool to see him now. I know he's got Fantastic Four under his belt right now. So after that's done, it'd be cool to see him kind of venture over to DC and take on a property, and like, you know, because like how dope would that be where you can say like, yo, I did both Marvel and DC. Like that's some serious bragging rights, man. So I think 100%. And like they were both done successfully and done well. So like I think that would be really cool, and I'd love to see that. I probably won't see it, but it'd be cool if like some of the top tier directors kind of took over for both.
I'm sure there's a non-compete clause somewhere in there, but like hopefully, you know, that will expire soon. But before I give my point, I do want to like bring up something that Courtney brought up. So Courtney has watched I think the first episode, and she's like, didn't like how incredibly unlikable the characters are. I love Leota, but the two other team members sucked. Peacemaker is an asshole, but that's the point. But no one else has much going for them. And then says, addendum, Eagly is a real team player, absolute bro. Okay, I will say that this show is not what I anticipated. I like it, but like I do see what Courtney is saying. Like they are a lot of unlikable characters in it. Like Robert Patrick, T-1000, playing the White Dragon. Whoa. And also, I like Myrn, but only because I like Myrn being angry at the team. Like honestly, the apple dumpling yelling stage, I was on my side laughing when he's like, "Fuck you, John," and John's like, "Why is everyone saying fuck you to me?" But like he keeps fucking up. But me personally, like I find this to be a comedic version of people who are assholes just being like Vigilante. They're literally making fun of how psychopathic he is, and that's new for me, which I'm actually kind of enjoying. Though, did they have a threesome?
Yeah.
I was like, we just go glass right over that part. I was like,
oh yeah, that was like, I just love how it's like the guy was like, don't sleep with him, basically, and it's like, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to totally do that. Like,
and like Vigilante, like he kills people who they do graffiti or do pot. He just any legit, like any like official crime you commit, no matter how small, you get killed.
Because he likes killing. So he's like He's like Dexter. He just has a code. That code is very hair thin on like, you cross the line, I can kill you.
Okay, I was telling this to Tactix, and like originally I was gonna keep this off the air, but I might as well just say it right now. The way that Vigilante is like desperately trying to make best friends with Peacemaker, it I'm not saying I'm exactly like that, but it definitely shone a light on it hit a part of my soul where I was like, wait, I've definitely done stuff like that before. Like his voicemail messages, like I know Tactix has talked to me about like me using his voicemail messages, and I was like, when he was like, "Yo, man," when I said P and V, I realized it probably meant like it could be construed as like penis and vagina, and I was just like, oh. I definitely left an awkward voicemail message on Tactix one time.
Yo, your
like,
voicemail is hilarious, man. I just gotta put that on there. Hi, you've reached Umar. Sorry you've missed him.
Why are you talking about yourself in the third person?
What the fuck?
Oh man. Oh man.
I just call hoping that you don't answer so I can hear that shit, yo. Right into my day.
Oh man.
Vigilante definitely is like a sore point for me because I'm like, ooh, that's not a great color to see.
He's like a sore toe, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, there it is. Like, you know, but before we move off of this, I gotta say something though. Like, this is a group full of assholes. Think of the people who would end up in this job. That's the kind of people who would end up in this job. Right? Like people down the luck, weird, like average people are not ending up doing these jobs. Like this group is accurate.
Like misfits.
Yeah.
Agreed. But I can see Courtney's point. It's kind of like, why would I watch a show about these people? Like, for example, I stopped watching Mad Men, even though it was well written, well acted, but I'm like, yo, they're all assholes. And I know people that are asshole like these people, and I don't hang out with them. Why would I watch a show and get invested in these characters when I don't like these people? So like I kind of see
redeeming qualities. For the redeeming qualities, because this is how they start, but that might not be how they end up. Because look at what's the James Gunn's wife, her character, how she started, and now hardcore, and now she's kind of like, you can see by the end of the latest episode, she's kind of trying to make a. She's like making a shift. You know what I mean?
I don't trust that WhatsApp group at all. That feels like evidence. That feels like evidence, man. She took that picture, and I was like, they all going down.
I will say, for her, I actually really like hardcore because like in the first episode, without like while being a badass and also being like really sassy and really funny, she was able to just point out and be like, a woman just wanted to go to a bar just to have a drink, like a quiet drink by herself, and even by the hero was harassed, like left, right, and center, to the point that she actually had to leave. And I'm just like,
yeah. The thing is, like, one, he's not a hero, and two, like when Tax saying with the redeeming qualities of these characters, like John Cena's character is not a hero. Peacemaker is a villain who thinks he's a hero, and the redemption in his story is that he might become a little bit more like a hero by the end of it, but he's never really going to be a full-on hero. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I like it. Like, yeah, they're a bunch of assholes, but the way it's presented and the arcs that everyone's kind of getting, and like what you're learning about the characters is a lot of fun. And yeah, Courtney, I totally get it. You got a lot of assholes at work, so yeah, it's like bringing it home a little bit. But hey, you get to laugh at these ones to their face because they ain't looking at you.
You can cuss at these people while they're talking.
Yeah,
you can mute them too. Anyway, but like I will say that for me, like, so Tactix, you gave it a 7.5.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to 7.5.
Darcy, I'm thinking you're giving it like an 8.5?
8.5, yeah.
Okay. For me, I will say I'll give it a 7.
You lopsided, man. You low when it's good and high when it's bad.
Hold on. I think I'll give it a 7.5 because, like, honestly, the audacity of the show and also just how fucked up it is, I gotta give it credit for that. Like, I do like when something makes me go, what the fuck? And it's like I keep watching, because I'm like as opposed to be like, what the fuck, and then like turning it off. So I'll give it a 7.5.
Yeah, so
I'll
like
give
the
it a
second one's like a
7.8.
Joss Whedon interview. What the
Uh,
fuck?
yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So that's Peacemaker. Moving on. So to our next topic is Superman and Lois. We're going to continue our coverage of each episode at present because they are surprisingly doing all right. So the latest now, Tactix has revealed an image for our YouTube link, which is kind of spoilery. So we apologize if
It's
you
not a
haven't watched.
spoiler, man. No one's gonna know what the fuck that is. No one's gonna know. They're not gonna know. They're not gonna know.
I love it. I love it that you just referenced that. No, now they know.
So we were revealed in the latest episodes. Oh, okay. So spoiler warning: we are going to talk about the latest episode of Superman and Lois. If you guys want to watch the episode and not be spoiled, I'll need to like come back after a couple of minutes. Anyway, or go to the next timestamp if you're watching later. Anyway, I gotta say, I'm noticing that Superman and Lois has, at least at present, a trend where the first like half of the season is some good shit, and the ending half has some work to do. This season is no different. Where I mean, like in first season, we thought that the guy in the suit was like a black Lex Luthor, and it's like, okay. Turns out it wasn't black. It wasn't black Lex Luthor. It was John Henry Irons Steel, and like the most badass version of him that we've ever gotten at like the 2 times he was referenced. Now we get what we thought everyone assumed, and even we assumed, was Doomsday. And in this episode, in episode 3, they even act like it's Doomsday by like all these like nuggets and like word usage and here and there. And then we find out, Darcy, what did we find out? You make the big reveal.
It's Bizarro Superman.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And you kind of feel like Mental Link. That is a little more obvious than Doomsday.
Yeah.
I thought that Mental Link was like a rewrite on Doomsday. And I'm like, how are they gonna make up this bullshit?
I thought they were going to make seem like like he's actually a sympathetic character, because he was saying Clark was saying, I feel like I'm backed into a corner. I feel like I have to fight, get out of it. And I'm like, oh, are they going to make Doomsday into like this like person who's like actually the victim of Krypton? But no, they make it Bizarro. And me personally, I really enjoy being caught off guard, and Superman and Lois did that. So for me, like props. But Tactix, what did you think?
I really liked the misdirect. I did not see it coming at all, like, because he was so remember I think it was the what was it called, the animated movie, Death of Superman, the recent one, the New 52 one. And Doomsday, if you remember, he was dressed in some kind of armor before you got to see like his actual his real form. And so, that's what I thought this was when you see him kind of emerge from the mines, and like I'm like, oh, okay. And once that whole thing got revealed, like just like the perception that we had of this being Doomsday, I was kind of checked out. I was like, okay, like they're pulling a Smallville where they're just adding a whole bunch of shit, or even worse, they're doing the Gotham thing where they're adding all the villains super early into the show. And so I was like, okay, if this is where they're going and this is where they're headed, then I'm out. I'm checked out. And then the mask, or part of the helmet, gets like broken off, and then you see this guy, Superman, and then you're like, wait, what the fuck? And I still thought it was Doomsday. I thought it was just like a cheap version of Doomsday. So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of lame. Because I thought that they were like, oh, like, we spent all our budget on the actual Superman, so we can't really afford to do a Doomsday with the spikes and shit. So that's what I thought. So I'm like, damn, man, CW is really hurting for money. That no wonder they're selling their shit. So I thought that's where they were going with it, and then at the end you see the reveal, and it's actually Bizarro, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, that's actually pretty cool, and they fooled us again, so now we can never trust these motherfuckers whenever like they set something up, right? So is it 20? Yo, man, it's just full of lies. Andrew Garfield and now this, man. I can't trust anybody out here, man. Like, so yeah, but I loved that. Another thing that I thought like I was gonna check out of, and they might still do it, so it's still left to be determined. But I thought so the whole, and I don't care about this storyline at all. I'm sure Darcy can attest to that as well. But the whole thing with Jordan's girlfriend and how she had the whole secret and everything. You know where I thought they were going to go with it? I thought that, you know, she was going to start hanging out with
Natalie.
With Natalie, and then they were going to link up, and then that was going to like I thought the secret was, oh, I think I like girls, and there's nothing wrong with that. Progressive, yay, I'm all for that. But I just thought that they were going to CW it and make it really cheesy. And then that was going to cause like some tension between Natalie and Jordan, considering that they're now under the same roof and shit. And thankfully they didn't go that route.
Oh, so no. I think they're still going to go down that route.
Yeah, I know. But like,
there's still time.
At least they didn't do it like in the early episodes. So I was like, okay,
so
all right.
I'm glad you brought this up, because this is a problem I had with like. So I agree with you. More representation is good, and like having someone kind of like make themselves realize that they're a lesbian, awesome. Do they have to cheat? Is that the way we need to do it? Also, are we really going to say that it's like everyone is just treating a betrayal the same as keeping a secret of your own personality? Like everyone's like, oh, well, you know, when you reveal your secret to her, do you want her to be cool? I'm like, okay, first of all, him telling her I got superpowers is like him saying, yo, I have like, I'm I don't know, like I'm Jewish or something like that. Like it's something about who he is, like born as. It's not having to do with what he has done to her or to other people.
Right.
So yes, you're keeping a big secret, but technically speaking, that's your private life. You're allowed to keep that stuff to yourself. Yeah. And also for your safety and for your family safety. It's like a girl kissing another girl and then saying, no, it didn't mean anything, which is clearly her trying to hide the fact that she's feeling feelings that she didn't really want to have. Again, not the great way to introduce this sort of progressive movement, because I mean, again, like you really want someone who's cheater to be the main like lesbian representation. Nonetheless, everyone's saying, hey, well, it's the same as you keeping a secret. I'm like, no, y'all were in a committed relationship. Like, granted, it's high school, so like there like some level of like flimsiness
committed.
There. Yeah, my man's committed though. He essentially proposed to her at the end, didn't he?
No, I gave her like a necklace.
Yeah.
But he told his dad, I want to marry her, and I was like, oh my lord, can you smack this kid? Then he yelled at him like he was trying to shake the earth. I'm like, that's close enough.
Yeah. and I'm just like, okay, like granted, I can understand a high schooler saying I'm going to marry her just like obstinately. I mean, I don't got kids who are teenagers, but like I'm sure that will come at one point, and I'll remember this episode. I'm like, oh, they were accurate. Anyway. But nonetheless, a girl cheating on you versus you keeping your like genetic background a secret, they are not equal.
No.
And I don't like the fact that they're rationalizing as is. I'm like, that's some bullshit.
That's CW logic, bro. You can't have high expectations on moral logic with the station that's famous for One Tree Hill. Like, come on now, bro. Like, let me put it this way, okay? So I completely agree with you on that statement. And like the difference between the cheating is that she did something that directly affects her partner and therefore has to confess it. Whereas let's go to a much better show on this topic, and let's look at Invincible, okay? Where he does not have to tell her she's a superhero, but over time, when he neglected her because of his responsibilities, then he is affecting her and therefore has to make a decision to either cut it or tell her because it now is actually affecting her. But if it was like a couple of days, it ain't affecting her, right? The thing is, he has superpowers, but he's not a superhero. He doesn't actually do anything with them, at least of value. And therefore, he's not actually affecting her. So if he went his whole life and had superpowers and like just did the laundry faster, like at some point probably should have to tell her, because they lived together, but like you don't have to tell her nothing like right now because it's not affecting her. And there are actual risks, which this kid does not understand clearly.
He literally is going to spill the beans to the first person he kissed.
Oh my Lord! Like this, man. Everyone in town's gonna know what's up.
Yeah, and oh, like I wanted Clark to say, "This is the reason I didn't tell you because shit like this."
Oh, I just had a thought. Okay, so you know how we thought of like stuff like Jonathan going bad? What if Jordan tells and the secret's getting out and Jonathan ends up having to kill somebody to protect the secret? Like
okay,
that would
never happen. But like I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at.
That is like and he going to turn Luther because his brother forced it because his brother's an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, he's getting the drugs now, so.
Okay, I want to bring up. I hope that's him taking after his mother and is trying to find where these are coming from. Like he's investigating it.
Ooh, that would be good. That'd be smart. Because I mean, one like the mom, one like the dad. Obviously he can't be like the dad. So
yeah. But like I know they're trying to show that like he's upset at the fact that like he can't. Oh, okay. By the way, I gotta say the scene where he like accidentally punches Clark, and Tyler Hoechlin is still killing it. My man faked getting punched in the face and fell down. And for a second, I'm like, oh, he hit him that hard? I'm like, is he developing superpowers? And I was like, no, his father. I'm like, no, you idiot. His father is clearly like playing along with being punched in the face.
Well, wouldn't that break his hand though? Like,
that means his timing has to be so accurate. He felt
yes.
He's like, oh.
Yes, actually, that's a really good way.
Yeah, because like if Jordan hit him, it legitimate actually could have done something. Jonathan hit him is like just so he though in our reality of real world he could have just taken the hit and fallen over, but yeah, no, like I love that it's like how in tune do you have to be to get a surprise? Though, in all fairness, for him, a surprise hit like that, I mean, he could literally see it coming because he could he'd slow things down. So he'd be like, "Oh, this is happening. Okay, let me. All right, do we do pose A, pose B?"
But okay, so the scene following that, like when he like gets angry and he's like, "Get out," and like he takes off his glasses and literally burns his hand with his heat vision. I was like, "Whoa!" But then it made me because I was watching Jonathan while that was happening. It kind of looked like a son being afraid of his father because his father is bipolar.
Interesting.
And I was like, interesting. Well, now they didn't do anything with it ultimately, but it was an interesting scene to see. But then this is what I like. CW gives me interesting points that could actually grow into something, but they don't actually do it. So I'm like, eh. Nonetheless. Yeah. I'm happy of Bizarro. I'm happy with the switcheroo. I could care two shits about Lana going for mayor. Like,
yeah, I forgot about that.
I could be all done with that right there. I could be all done with that. I mean, like, I hope something good comes of all the Lana stuff because it feels like a big old waste of like, hey, we have 45 minutes episode and we only have 35 minutes of content. So, hey, Lana, can you come on set? Let's figure something out.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're giving her something like running for mayor, which is what I called it the season finale. But at the same time, ugh, anyway. And okay, they were trying to make a big deal about like a woman running for mayor and how like progressive that is, and like her way of like swinging around and getting the people back was to her cook dinner for her family.
I mean, in those country areas, that actually is kind of legit. But yeah, from the writing perspective, I mean, it's weak sauce. And hey, she was making sauce, so there you go.
Yeah. Oh my god. Anyway, you guys have any like last minute things you want to say?
I actually thought when I just wanted to mention this because when when Tactix was saying about like he thought it was like Doomsday in the thing. I had like two thoughts before I realized it was Bizarro. I didn't when I saw half the face, I didn't think it was Superman. At first, I thought, ah, shit, it's his brother or like a version of his brother. And then so I'm like, wait, how did he get here? And then the second thing I thought was, ah, crap, it's Smallville Doomsday. Like it's a regular dude. I'm like, not the regular dude one. And then it came out. I was like, oh, it's Bizarro. That's fantastic. So yeah, but imagine it was like Smallville, just another dude again, like Doomsday. Like, oh my, y'all didn't learn nothing.
No. Thankfully, they did learn something. Okay. Moving on to our final topic, which, as I said before, is going to be about live adaptations. Darcy, I'm going to let you take this one because this was your suggestion. So Darcy is going to bring forward a discussion topic.
Yeah, and I totally forgot exactly how I worded it, so I was not prepared for this at all. I am scrolling through our WhatsApp chat so I can see what. Oh my god, I'm looking at the wrong WhatsApp group. That does not help. How did I phrase it, Umar? Help me out, bro.
The love of God. Tactix, take it away while we figure this out. Please,
I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. I just push buttons, yo.
oh wait. I think my question was, when is the right time to adapt? Was it animes to
video games, animes, and yeah. So future. When does an animated anime video game storyline make sense to adapt to live action? And to be honest, we might as well throw in like the whole Disney thing with it.
Yeah. Basically, anything that's animated or. Well, animated because games are still three-dimensionally animated. So yeah, when is the right time?
Ooh.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, I want to say 90% of the time it's never, because half the time when you do something that is animated, it in and of itself, like there's usually something you're trying to achieve, something you're trying to show that that like you can't achieve in real world. However, I will say that there are some instances I can think of more in video games than I can think of in like animated cartoons or anime, because I feel like if they really wanted to make it live action, they would have gone after that route instead of like making it animated. I feel like with video games, where you can make this work, and I think they are doing one, is something like The Last of Us. Are you guys familiar with that game?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, it has a very clear storyline. It has a very clear something that we've already seen before that we know can work. And the game in and of itself feels very like already like a movie in a way, right? Yeah, Umar just so mad at this picture. I'm totally ignoring. But yeah, like where something like The Last of Us, it has it. I haven't even played the game. I've just watched clips from it. But it's zombies, and like we all know how that works. The characters look very like something you could put into CGI or with prosthetics, and you could get done. But yeah, when you talk about something like Dragon Ball, like there's just no way that this is going to adapt into live action and feel like really tangible. Like it's going to feel goofy. And if you do find a way to do it, like I don't know, it's gonna be bad. Like, and it's gonna be compared, and it's never gonna match. It's never gonna be quite the same because can't be.
Like okay, first of all, let me just quickly answer Ron R's question. She's like, I want to know which house you choose for Umar, which clearly is based off of my t-shirt on the Game of Thrones houses. I would choose House Tyrell because, like, they got the biggest army and also the most luscious lands, and also they got Marjorie, and I want to marry her. Anyway, honestly, in terms of adaptations, back in the day I would have said like, no, I want to see adaptations. I want to see adaptations. I've seen them now. I have seen like anime adaptations. I've seen like Disney animated adaptations. I've seen video game adaptations, and I've seen comic book adaptations. Live action does not mean better. And to be honest, animated or anime allows you to do a lot more than live action can. So if anything, I would say let's start moving the other way around and start turning live action films into, if you're going to adapt them and stuff, like put them into animated. Like for example, Harry Potter. I love the movies, but I think I would actually much prefer a much more like focused, like an animated or anime, let's say anime version of Harry Potter, and like each season is a book, and like you do in each and every parts of that book, because that would be dope. The same thing for other book series, is like you just do what we did with Invincible. Let's do an Invincible adaptation of like Percy Jackson, or okay, to be fair, Lord of the Rings didn't work out so well when I did animated, but that was back in the 80s. But like live action does not mean better. And oh, T, you are just finding all the adaptations that burn my soul. Like, good for you. You're definitely proving my point. Like you've literally proven my point in every photo you've put up so far. But like, okay, we're definitely getting some comments. So let's start putting those up. So Courtney says, I think the original creators behind the live action production might help. Okay, actually, that's a fair statement. It depends on like no, they could write it better for the adaptation as opposed to picking the wrong aspects of the story.
But it depends on what it is too. Like, I mean, we do a good job sometimes when we take comic books and we, superheroes, and we do it, but we always telling a different story usually when it works. We're not usually telling the same story. But a lot of times, like let's say with anime, like there's a lot of stuff that it's like what it's, I don't even want to say what value does it add, but like there's a lot of stuff that like you can't articulate in live action. So I feel like if you're gonna take an anime, it's like, what if you're gonna go scene by scene, you're never gonna hit it. You're just never gonna hit it.
You can't.
So then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna take something and explore the human side of something in a way where you're making like a new movie, a new story, that you're exploring the human element of something that didn't get explored enough in an anime, and they had maybe put too much fantasticalness in it, and you want to make it more like, what about the rest of it? But then is it really something that you want to see, or is it something you're just kind of like wishing was the other thing? Like what the original story?
Okay, so actually on that point, T, could you put down Courtney's latest comment on the screen? So the Avatar creators left the Netflix production team, and so did many of the fans' hopes that it would be good. That is actually to your point, because look, and I feel like people just want it in live action because they want to appeal to a bigger crowd. But the Disney film industry was based off cartoons, and look how big that grew. So like I feel that like animated or anime, it has an equal audience now as live action. I do see where your point run are, but I think that was back in the day. I think in modern day, live action is equal to anime. That's just my opinion. T, hold on, we've been like hijacking this. What do you think, bro?
I kind of echo what both of you guys said, especially with Darcy. I think it's very hard when you're looking at it from like an anime perspective. It's very hard for that stuff to translate into live action, because I'm thinking of things like or properties like Demon Slayer or Naruto, and certain scenes have a certain kind of like campiness to it that just I don't feel would resonate well if you try to put that into live action. But like, we wouldn't take it as seriously because it's in anime form. we kind of like disregarded it, or we're like, oh yeah, it's like a cartoon, it's cute, it's like it's humorous, right? But in live action, I think the focus tends to be more so on the storyline and the action. And the action is really hard to mimic in a serious tone when you're trying to translate that stuff from anime to the live action screen. And so yeah, it's a challenge in that regard. Like I always get excited when things get adapted, like minus the Disney stuff, because like I grew out of the Disney stuff a long time ago. So for me, that's not really my appeal. But whenever I hear like a game that I was familiar with that is getting adapted, I'm always curious, even though I know in the back of my mind that it's probably going to be trash. Like Sonic was kind of a good surprise. Like it's not a great film, but like, you know, but it had some good stuff there that had me interested. It had me invested, right? But look how many
few examples.
Yeah, but like look how many examples we've had prior to Sonic, and like Sonic was the one that kind of landed, right? Everything else, like Mortal Kombat, we were anticipating to be good because of the trailers, and that ended up being trash. So
not all.
Yeah. Why? Who me?
No, I'm saying I didn't expect it to be good.
Oh, yeah. I remember. No, but I mean, yeah, the trailer looked really good, and then
the first 10 minutes were also really good too.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, it's tough. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hear they're making a Super Mario movie as well, and I'm curious, even though I know at the end of the day it's probably going to be crap too. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like that feels. So here's one thing. I'm gonna play devil's advocate to my own points, because one of the comments that we had, and I think we even put it up. Yeah,
I didn't even Courtney. R.I.P. Cowboy Bebop.
I didn't even watch it. I already know it's bad. So there's.
Yo, wasn't Detective Pikachu great? I didn't see it, but I heard good things. It was fine. It wasn't great, but then again, I'm not a big Pokemon fan either. So.
Mm-hmm. So one of the comments that we had was that, you know, when you bring the original creators into it, I feel like it's also so like you have to really understand the source material. So one of the things that I was Googling while we were talking is like best live action movie anime adaptations, right? And and there's this top 13 list that I came across, and there's like a 2018 Bleach.
It's terrible.
I haven't watched it. There's one I've heard really good things about at number 12 called Assassination Classroom from 2015, which just this picture alone looks like really, really interesting in that it's like just the way it sits, this clearly animated character inside live action looked really good. There's out of this list, there's a lot of them I've never seen, but you can tell like they're acted by Japanese characters, and they're very like they look like they truly understand the anime, like they're not shying away from it. And I feel like, again, I don't know which ones are good or which ones are not, but it does, like, you know, I feel like that means something. There is a Death Note Japanese version that I didn't know existed, which now I almost want to see it. There's one called Terraformers, or I can't say it, but it looks really good. But number 2 is one that number 3 we know about, but I've never watched it. Speed Racer, but I don't know. And Alita Battle Angel, which was like a half decent film. Yeah, it was like a half decent, you know. But I could understand if you know the material. The one problem you really run into with anime in the Western world is that the Western world tells stories like fundamentally opposite, and so when they try to adapt them, they screw it up because they don't understand the source material, and they're trying to make something that is like authentically Japanese or authentically Korean or authentically Chinese or something like that, and then say, how do we make this appeal to like white people in North America? And it's like, well, then you're gonna miss the lot of the story. You might as well just tell a different story. You might as well just take from the core concepts and make your own story, like what am I thinking of? Hunger Games, where it's like it's been adapted from like something that was from Japan or Korea or something like that, and then they made their own version of it, right? You know, you might as well just redo something different, but take the core idea and just tell your own story, because that's the only way I think that those are going to really work. You know,
Well, look at, like, for example, Lion King. Like, first of all, like, Disney stole that from Japan, but ultimately, like, they took elements of Shakespeare, like, and also look at Star Wars. Star Wars took elements of Dune, and like made it a part of themselves. So I hear you, Darcy. It's like, okay, well, I want to adapt Death Note. Okay, I'm not going to do like a carbon copy of it. I'm going to kind of make my own version, but I need to well, I mean, they did.
you're describing the shittiest
Yeah,
fucking adaptation
yeah,
ever
that's
created.
true. But like, it's just like my thing is going back to what Courtney was saying about the Avatar creators. They literally left Netflix because Netflix was like, no, we're gonna do like an adaptation this way, but we want to make it sexier and bloodier. And it's like, um, no, thank you. And if you're going to drive away the creators who created a successful franchise that your platform has gotten more attention because of, like, all they needed to do was retell the story, but in a more adult way, like show the actual ramifications of 100-year war, about genocide, about like PTSD, like generational PTSD, like dive into it deeper, have Sokka and Katara actually having to kill people in this war, as opposed to like just looking around, like knocking people unconscious. Nonetheless, I'm just saying, like, live adaptations can be done if you take it appropriately seriously. The problem with all adaptations is that they're trying to just, you know what, to be honest, I don't know what they're trying to do. It's just that they're all shit.
They're trying
And
to
that's
make money off the IP, Umar. That's what they're trying to do.
they're trying to make money off the IP.
You know,
Go
you
on.
made a good point that dovetailed off of something I said earlier, which is like focusing on the human element in the anime more, and then still having the fantastical part. I like what you said there about Avatar, which is like the consequences, like PTSD, the consequences of the war, the acts that they have to do in the war, and the consequences and how that impacts them. That actually sounds like a really interesting live action version of
Yeah,
Avatar. If we still have the big moments and they still find a way to like make those animated and good,
yeah,
but they actually explore deeper the parts that they always glossed over. And so it's like we're still getting a lot of the same notes, and we hopefully have a very good pacing, but we spend more time focusing on very specific parts of it that we never actually looked at before, and you can articulate that maybe even better or at
yeah.
least differently with real people.
T, could you put on Ron R's comment? Like, we got a couple of comments going on here. So, no, I meant the one from 724. So Ron R was saying, I think live action has a great potential. I just have not seen one that makes me as excited as the anime itself. And then Courtney says, I think the answer is that we need more animated adaptations. Respect. It would be so fun to see beloved properties in different styles from passionate artists. Yeah, 100%. And Ron R and Jamal agree with that, and Courtney says spot on. So, like, T, what are your thoughts of making more animated adaptations
More animated adaptations.
of like live action properties or book series?
I mean, I'm open to any. I never want to close the door on anyone's creative endeavors. Like I think it's possible if the stories are done right and they're handled right. And like Darcy was saying, if you understand the source material and you can adapt it well, then I think there's always going to be a potential for a good story and a good movie. So again, I'll always give these movies a chance. I'll go in with low expectations, but I'll always give them a chance because you never know. I went in with low expectations in regards to Sonic, and I ended up walking out saying, "Oh, okay, that wasn't bad. It was nostalgic, and I enjoyed myself." Right? Not a memorable film by any stretch, but I remember enjoying it. Right? And that's all that really matters when it comes to like movies like this, anyway. Right? So in terms of adaptations going the other way, again, I think if they're done well, they I'm all for it. I yeah.
Okay, well, here's a question. For Invincible, would you have preferred a live action or what we got?
well, it was originally a comic book, right? And then they
Right.
made it into. So yeah, well, now I want to kind of see how they would do a live action, like a
Really?
live action movie. Yeah, because
Interesting.
it's that's a hard question for me to answer because I didn't even know about I wasn't even familiar with the comic book, and then all of a sudden we get this new TV series, this cartoon, and you guys send me the trailer, and again I'm not even all that interested because I'm like, okay, well, look, I don't even know who this character is, right? So, and it didn't really appeal, the trailer didn't really appeal to me, but then I watched it and it wasn't at all what I anticipated it would be, and really enjoyed it. So now I'm kind of like, okay, I would love to see this as like a live action, like either a series or a movie. Not anytime soon because I still kind of want. I'm really into the TV series that we have right now, and I want them to kind of like, ride that train as far as they can go. But eventually down the line, I'd love to see like a live action iteration of it.
So you are still for a live action because like I would say that my conclusion is I'm done with live action adaptations.
A part of it feeds my curiosity because I'm always kind of like curious as to what these characters would look like in a live action setting. Like I don't know if you've ever seen you ever see some of those like memes that go around or like those photos of like what the Simpsons would look like in real life.
Yeah.
Like I've always gotten a kick out of those, or like what like Family Guy characters would look like in real life, and it always feeds to this weird kind of curiosity that I have. So for me, yeah, like part of me would be open to it. Again, like I don't close the door on anyone's creative endeavors as long as the stories are done right, and I'm always gonna kind of those things are always going to kind of pique my interest in terms of feeding into my curiosity. I will continue to check them out. I'll go in with low expectations, and then at the most, I'm hoping to be like pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm still open to it. I again, like I'm not a big fan of the Disney stuff anymore, just because I'm too old for that shit. I feel like
You're never too old for Disney.
So sorry. You're right. No. You're right. Because I mean, I do enjoy the Pixar films, like some of the Pixar stuff that comes out. But again, like
Pixar makes me cry.
It's shit that like someone has like it has to already be on, or like I'm at like I'm like someone's like, yo, you wanna go and like check out a movie? I got a free ticket, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'm not gonna actually go out of my way, risk getting COVID to go watch a Pixar film. You know what I'm saying? But like if like again, if it's on or something like that, then I'll watch it, right? But it's not really. Those aren't the movies that really excite me, right? But I've enjoyed them. I love Up. I love the what's the brain one or the emotion one? Inside Out. Yeah, I love that one. So yeah, those ones are good. But in terms of like some of the classic Disney movies, like I'm not. I don't really care all that much to see those brought into live action. I'm curious. I'm always curious. Like I was always curious to see, okay, what would Beauty and the Beast look like in live action? I don't care to watch the whole movie, but I want to see what the characters look like. You know, I'm always curious and shit. I'm curious to see what the Little Mermaid would look like in real life. But I don't really care for the movie. But yeah, I don't know. That's my answer.
Before we close up, I'm just going to get Courtney's last comment here. She says, studios need to accept that some stories are told best in specific media forms and that's 100% okay. You know what? I can get behind that.
I don't mind them trying, though. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try and see what lands, right?
I'm okay with them trying once in a while, but not like like the whole thing with Disney is like it's a trend to adapt them. It's like they're going to adapt it. I'm like, please don't.
Yeah, but again, these movies aren't for us, man. Like the Disney ones anyway. Like these ones they're not for us. They're trying to reintroduce these Disney classics in a new format for the newer generation.
Aladdin wasn't for nobody. That was some bullshit.
Some people will disagree with you, though. Some people will disagree with you. Some people actually
Mulan was not for anybody. It was some bullshit too.
I
I'm
can't
sure.
speak on
I'm
Mulan.
sure
I
that.
never even saw that shit, but,
Yeah.
but
Same.
I don't hear many people talk about Mulan, but
You
I
like
know some
backed
people.
away from that one.
I'm not gonna touch Mulan, man. I heard a lot of bad stuff about it, so I'm not even gonna go there. But Aladdin, I mean, it got mixed reviews, leaning towards the positive. So
It's
No, it didn't.
there's a lot of children out there. Okay, there's a lot of children out there. They don't know no better. Okay, they don't know any better. They won't watch it when they're older, but they don't know any better.
bro, Aladdin didn't do as bad as you think it did. I understand your gripes with it, and they're very much sound, but there are a lot of people that I've heard actually really liked Aladdin. They're not seeing it through the same lens as you are, and they probably should, because I agree with your points. But that aside, they actually enjoyed it. So that's one example.
Umar, there are people, because I know one, that like Death Note from Netflix. So
that's also true.
Yeah. Which I also, by the way, been looking at like the trailer for the actual Japanese one, and like actually it looks like the anime. I'm actually looking at it, I'm like, oh good, it's of all animes to adapt, it's not exactly hard. It's just people most of the time, and then one Shinigami.
Yeah.
like a couple of Shinigami here and there. But it's just people. So it's super easy to do. Like in terms of like making it right. You just don't be Netflix and just do something completely different for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Netflix isn't really known for a lot of like good movies. Like they have like one or two bangers every couple of years, and
so I'm gonna like go a little bit further because, and this is something that I learned from Courtney, who is not a fan of the adaptation of The Witcher. And I have been reading online. There have been a lot of people who are not happy with the adaptations of The Witcher because, like everyone's comparing it to like the Game of Thrones, but like Game of Thrones up until a certain point was actually a really good adaptation of the books. Just like Lord of the Rings, the first trilogy was a pretty good adaptation of the books. But The Witcher, completely done by Netflix, from what I've been hearing, has not been a good adaptation of the books or the video game. So I
was
going
it a
to your
book
point,
first, or was The Witcher a book first and then a video game, or because I only know the video game, I didn't know it was a book too.
I think it was a book series first, and then the games tried to adapt some of it. I think so. Don't quote me on that one. But nonetheless, like Netflix, I agree with you, is not good at adaptations, and The Witcher arguably is considered one of that. And I'm kind of wanting Netflix to stop, just stop adaptations. Oh, Courtney says book first. Oh, she actually has a few comments here. I loved seeing a Canadian actor as Aladdin. Fair. I'm super proud of him getting that opportunity, so that's a plus. Okay, well, if you're going to be fine. Maybe Aladdin had some good things. Whatever.
Yeah, you can give Aladdin the same kind of ratings that Umar gives, like The Matrix.
4 out of 10.
Way too many points.
And then says the games, and there was a small live action adaptation before the Netflix one. There's another live action Witcher. Damn. Yeah, Jamal, it's fine. Courtney's fast on the typer. But okay, so Darcy, so ultimately, are you for because I'm against? Tactix is, I guess, in the middle. Yeah, he's neutral. Where do you stand on the adaptations?
How do I put this? I want some. I just want them to be good. I want them when they make sense. And honestly, they have to make sense, and on top of making sense, they also have to respect the material. I'm gonna go watch this. Well, if I can find it, I'm trying to Google for it, but I can't seem to find a video to watch it. But I want to watch this Death Note Japanese version, right? And if you wanted to make that Japanese version for the American audiences, you could just have changed Japan into the United States, right? But kept everything else basically the same. Adjust our names a little bit. It would have worked. But I want them to happen. I don't want a lot of them to happen. I want the right ones to happen to make sense. I don't need Naruto coming to live action. It's just not gonna work.
Please don't.
Like there's nothing you can do there that's really gonna work, right? Like it's
So
okay.
no, go on. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
It's just like you can do a lot of cool 3D animation. I still don't think I'm ever gonna feel the weight of it the way I feel it from the anime. But there are some that I think can work, and I would love to see some happen. I just feel like it's the lesser of the bunch that can actually adapt well. But Tactix, what you guys say?
So I'm hopeful, maybe wrongfully so, but I feel like here's what I hope. Because see how we're like in this era right now where like superhero movies are dominating. That wasn't always the case. You know, we had maybe, you know, growing up, we probably had maybe 2, 3 at most superhero movies come out, and not all of them did well. The only bankable heroes were Superman and Batman at that time, right? And there's only so many that you can do in a year, right? But now we've gotten to a point where like they've taken a break, and now we're seeing an influx of superhero movies, right? They finally cracked the code. They figured out the formula, and now superhero movies are like all the rave right now. I feel like they're still testing the waters with a lot of these live adaptations that eventually I'm hoping that they can crack this code and start making shit work and making it make sense and make these storylines both like just make the movies both visually and, you know, from a storyline perspective pleasing to us. And I like we're definitely not there at all. We're not even close.
No.
I'm hoping in like you know, maybe 5, no, that's too soon. 10, 15 years down the line, they eventually crack the code, and then we start seeing more anime adapted stuff actually work.
Okay, so you're comparing them to how, because like back in the day we got Captain America the movie, which was bullshit. We got Superman, which was awesome. Superman 2, which was awesome, and then 2 really bad Superman films. We got Batman, the first one, which was awesome. Batman Returns, which was like it had it was a solid film, but it definitely had its problems.
Watch your tongue, bro. Watch your tongue.
I'm just saying, like there were some problems.
All right, move on, bro.
Okay,
move on.
Then we got Forever and Batman and Robin, which essentially killed that franchise. We got Blade, which was awesome. Blade 2, which it was decent. It was decent.
Yo, watch your tongue, bro.
And then we got Blade 3, which was bullshit. Yeah. And like then we also got like Daredevil. We got Spider-Man. Well, at the time I was happy about Spider-Man, but like let's just say that now that definitely doesn't hold up as much. Spider-Man 2 still holds up. Spider-Man 3 is
How are you gonna say nothing bad about Daredevil and you like talking shit about Blade 2?
No,
disrespect, bro. Wow.
Daredevil doesn't even deserve.
You glossed right over that, bro. Like what?
But you brought it up and you glossed over it like the shine on his suit.
You right to Spider-Man and talk shit about Spider-Man and not even Daredevil.
Fine.
Are you kidding me, bro?
Allow me to talk shit about Daredevil.
Bring it back, bro. Bring it all the way the fuck back.
Daredevil is some bullshit. It had some terrible writing, some terrible acting. It took a completely awesome character and it ruined the character until Netflix made a proper adaptation. Motherfucker.
Right. Some respect on Spider-Man and Batman Returns, bro.
Yo, but Ron R here has a point in the comments that I can't really disagree with. I think I liked Daredevil when I was a kid. I think I did, but I know nothing. I know nothing. No, like there were like cool moments.
Okay, so yeah. To be fair, I think I like Batman Forever. I remember liking Batman Forever when I was a kid.
Yo, Seal has like one of the best songs of all time out of that movie.
Hands down.
We're not talking soundtrack right now.
That soundtrack is fire though. The whole soundtrack, not just Seal.
Yeah,
that soundtrack is fire.
let me put how good this. I was recently watching a video of like a really big YouTube channel where he actually called Seal because he's friends with him, and you're like, and Seal sent him like all what we call like the track out, so like all the individual instruments, so you could go through all the instruments for you. So I had a real moment because I love that song. But the thing, it's like that song is so good that after you're done watching the film, it makes you feel emotional about the film and want to watch it again, regardless of its quality level. Like this song makes the movie better. You're like, oh yeah, no, I feel you. Oh, that was some tough stuff there when he was falling down the shaft, and oh yeah, this is.
You mean the
I'm
music
not even gonna
video?
lie.
The music video makes you want to watch the
video.
film.
No, because the music comes on in the credits. It comes on the credits, and so you're like, "Oh, I need to watch it again."
But in the music video, there's like snippets of the film in the music video. So
oh yeah,
no, because like I remember I watched the movie and I was like, "This is some bullshit," and then I watched the music video. I'm like, "Yo, maybe I was too harsh on it."
You watch the movie, and
then I watched the movie. Bullshit. Like,
and then you get to the very end with the credits. You're like, I don't know though.
Oh man.
All right. Well, nonetheless, I think we've like discussed this to the point that like I think I'm bitter. I'm just bitter towards adaptations. You guys still have some hope. But nonetheless, T, I'm gonna volley it back to you, bro.
All right. Well, this has been another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
No, it's just Darcy here.
And this is Big Geek Umar. Please like and subscribe, and also leave a comment. And thank you all for watching, and for all our guests who are partaking in it, because you guys were awesome. Jamal, Ron R, and Courtney, respect.
He's going to hang right there on Umar. Make it real awkward for him.
Say bye. You didn't say bye.
I said bye.
Nah, you just like thank you for
live
watching.
long and prosper. I'm done.
There you go. There you
suck,
go.
man. Why you gotta do this to me?